Elections have consequences, and the people of New York City learned.
So we're touching on this topic real quick. So, our government leaders weren't able to make a deal with Amazon. They were looking to set up their headquarters in Long Island City, which I think was a bad idea anyway, as far as location. I, of course, welcome business in New York City, but there's plenty of space elsewhere, like in East New York or Red Hook. There's a lot of empty space. If I was working on this deal with Amazon, if I was in the local government, I would be like, hey, why don't you set up your office in East New York, near like the Gateway Mall. There's like all kinds of space there, and then have them make a deal where they can subsidize transportation, maybe along the Belt Parkway. Because South Brooklyn, Southeast Brooklyn, there's no real easy way to go from east to west. And that would take some of the burden off the MTA's hands if Amazon could, subsidize transportation. Hey, let them put Amazon ads all throughout it. Call it the Amazon train, whatever. Even give them some tax breaks, because I think that's what they were looking for. They were looking for tax breaks. The government was trying to give them the tax breaks, which is understandable. A lot of the corporate welfare is a huge problem, but also they just Amazon just said fuck it, and they're going to like Virginia now or something. But these partisan hacks, they have too narrow a scope to even think of a fucking idea like I just thought.
That lesson once again this week as Amazon decided to abandon their plans to build a new headquarters in Queens, stating a number of state and local politicians have made it clear that they oppose our presence and will not work with us to build the type of relationships that are required to go forward with the project we and many others envisioned in Long Island City.
Granted, most of the jobs that would have brought probably weren't going to be that great anyway. But even if it's just like a warehouse job, there's a lot of people who take a warehouse job, you know what I'm saying?
Company said in a blog post. In this case, words do matter, as there was lots of backlash from politicians with ties to the area. One of the loudest was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who took to Twitter to say she had been getting calls all day and the community was outraged. In a joint statement, State Senator Michael Generis and City Council member Jimmy Van Bramer said, "We will continue to stand up against what can only be described as a bad deal for New York and for Long Island City." Well, it looks like those who were fighting won. But did they really? Sure, the large state and federal tax breaks given to the company were not ideal. But basic math shows that $2 billion investment in tax breaks and incentives is a lot less than the $5 billion and 50,000 jobs Amazon was promising to the area. These same politicians screamed the tax deduction money could be better used repairing public transportation or cancel student debt. Only problem is, it's hard to accomplish those goals with no dollars, which is exactly where the residents of Queens stand today. This is how tax incentives work. It's not cash the local and state governments give a business. It is money the business doesn't give it directly back after putting in their own money and generating even more revenue within the community. Not to mention the revenue by satellite companies and their employees, which are brought in to be close to major headquarters like Amazon. But guess what? All of that is also taxed. It's called domino economics, and something those protesting the Amazon decision maybe didn't calculate right. Or maybe they did, as they know a change in the landscape of their districts might also mean a change in their constituency, and they might ultimately want a change in the representation. They don't have to worry about that now. So on a sad day for Queens, that means it's going to be a happy day for the other two headquarters in Arlington, Virginia and Nashville, Tennessee, who up until now have been pretty celebratory about the opportunities Amazon will be bringing to their community and are already hoping New York...
I really want to check out Tennessee because particularly Chattanooga, because it's one of those cities that are becoming more and more technologically advanced. Like they got fiber optic running through that whole city. And it's probably a lot more affordable to live there. Let me see. Chattanooga cost of living. I need to do some research on Chattanooga. Look at that. Dude, a house in Chattanooga? 140,000? What? What was the average income? Its average income is pretty low, though. Huh. I gotta look into that. Anyways.
New York's loss will be their even bigger gain. Well, that's unless the politicians get involved.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel.
I gotta take a shiza.
Well, as we've been telling you, a huge decision from Amazon today. The tech giant deciding not to build a second headquarters here in New York City after the debate over the deal that it got to come here. And now we're just hearing Mayor de Blasio's reaction to this. And we have his quote that he just sent us. "You have to be tough to make it in New York City. We gave Amazon the opportunity to be a good neighbor and do business in the greatest city in the world." There it is right there. He continues to say, instead of working with the community, Amazon threw away that opportunity. "We have the best talent in the world, and every day we are growing a stronger and fairer economy for everyone."
Talent that's leaving New York City record rates, thousands of people a month leaving New York City. I think it was like 50,000 a year or something like that. Maybe even more. Yeah, a lot of people are leaving New York City because it's just too expensive, and the pay you get out here isn't shit. Like, I'm being considered for this job that I had interviewed for a couple weeks ago. And it's a program director job, so it's something that I was looking for. Like, it's exactly, the kind of job I was looking for, except, it's a small program, but also it's not full-time. It's only part-time, and they told me that it's like 16 hours a week. And I think in the summer it might be full-time, and then like there's no job guaranteed by the end of the summer. So I don't know, man. But they said that they're growing and that there's other opportunities for a full-time position after that. It's fucking tough, man, especially with nonprofits. Like, it's just tough in general to find a decent job that isn't gonna grind your soul to nothing.
If Amazon can't recognize what that's worth, its competitors will. Well, joining us now to go through the fallout of this loss of Amazon is Aaron Elstein. He's a senior reporter for Crain's. And Aaron, you're calling this an enormous surprise. I think a lot of us were caught off guard by this. Let's start with the basics economically. 25,000 to 40,000 jobs Amazon was promising. This hurts.
This is something that people were really counting on, and 25,000 jobs that were going to pay about $150,000 each. These are not like, fast food jobs. These were the kinds of jobs that cities all over the country are trying to get, and we had an opportunity and we just threw them away.
So we have seen opposition to big business in the past, where a big company is coming and you see the rallies and you see the protest against it. Did you think in this case Amazon would be the type of company?
Here's what probably happened is that whoever was in charge of dealing with Amazon, whoever was in the government, whether it was, I don't know, the Congress people, the mayor, or whatever, they probably made like some stern demand, and because they're fucking career politicians and don't know business, don't know how to negotiate, they, probably didn't give Amazon a lot of options. They probably were just like, oh, well, Amazon, you're going to have to pay like X amount in taxes, and like, it's this or nothing. I would have been like, yo, here's option A, B, C, D, E, and F. We're going to work this out. Don't even worry about it. We're going to figure it out. Something that's best for everybody. Let's make a win-win situation. We need the jobs. We got the people here to work the jobs. Like, a lot of people ready to bust their ass for you. Just, let's set it up right. But, idiots like Ocasio-Cortez, they don't have business experience. She was a fucking bartender. What the fuck does she know about business? What does she know about negotiation? She doesn't know shit. And neither does de Blasio and fucking Cuomo. They just used to strong-arming people and getting the fucking mafia to fucking strong-arm people, and fucking unions and shit to strong-arm people. That's what career politicians are good at, strong-arming people into doing shit, not fucking negotiation.
To weather that storm?
I thought they would. They're an enormous company. They've dealt with public relations problems before. I thought they would weather this storm. But what's different now from before is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She was the first person to raise opposition to this deal when it was announced in November. And while she wasn't going to city...
It's crazy because she's so she is not qualified for her job, Ocasio-Cortez, okay? She's a fucking dumb idiot, okay? So much shit she says just fucking retarded, dude. The Green New Deal is fucking retarded. Check out the video from last week's show. We break down the Green New Deal. She might have good intentions of, like, you know, equity and things like that, but her ideas are not realistic. And it's dangerous because so many people follow her, so many people believe in her because she's non-white, she's female, and she's hot. Those are the only reasons why she has a fucking big following. Her policies, her idea, her political stance, her viewpoints are garbage, are complete trash. And it's really dangerous to have so many people believe in that, because that's, you know, following her fucking style of politics is just going to make our governments fucking bankrupt.
Council meetings and attending hearings where people spoke out against this, she was leading this opposition. Her and a state senator named Mike Gianaris from Queens, and this is a, you know, they get the credit or the blame for this depending on how you view this decision, but they were definitely the ones who spearheaded this.
We know the senator held rallies and protests against the company coming even after he initially signed the letter in support of them coming several months back. How do they explain this to their constituents, that we just lost out on 40,000 jobs over the next several years?
Well, they would cast this as a victory, that this is a big defeat to big business. It can't just come to New York and, you know, do what it wants, that we have, you know, they would see this as a victory. I don't think the governor or the mayor quite see it that way. They made a commitment to Amazon. They offered them some tax incentives, not cash, but some discounts on their taxes. And now their commitments, you know, they couldn't deliver on them. So this sends a message to other companies that are thinking about coming to New York. Do you really want to come here and put up with all the hassle? And by the way, the promises that are made to you may not be kept.
Yeah, that was my next question. Is New York City now seen as hostile to businesses who want to set up shop here?
I think so, yes. Certainly today and for a while. This will be remembered. This was if you remember what a long beauty contest there was for where is Amazon going to go? Where are they going to go? And they decided Northern Virginia and then New York City. Well, now they're going to spend their time and money in Northern Virginia and Nashville, Tennessee, not so much in New York City.
You're absolutely right. There was a lot of fanfare about them coming here. We are still waiting to hear exactly what Governor Andrew Cuomo has to say about this. The company was very thankful to Mayor de Blasio and Andrew Cuomo, but again said we need to be in a place where we are welcomed and that the local leaders are willing to work with us, and that did not happen with Amazon in New York City.
3 months of them getting yelled at, basically, after, you know, sort of like, hey, neighbor, welcome here, and now let's yell at you.
Never mind.
They sort of said, we don't need that. We can go somewhere else.
All right, Aaron Elstein, thank you so much for your perspective on this.
My
Good
pleasure.
to have you here.